Finally back to review this cube. I got it 2 months ago. Made it immediately because I felt like it had potential and really fit my turning style. At first I had really inconsistent results, but then I got my PB A05 after a week, so I just decided to keep using it and ended up getting PB A100 as well. It's the best cube on the market for me. I got used to it pretty easily. I never felt like I could get used to the GAN 12 like perfectly, so I always felt like I wanted something lighter. I've tried using other cubes, but the times just clearly show that I'm best with the GAN 15, and I can't even really go back to using the 12 because it just feels like heavier now, and it's like a little less stable in some ways. It's super similar to the 12. Like, the edge piece is normally like nearly identical, and the corners are a bit different. Centers are a bit different too, but overall it feels really, really similar. The main difference is just the lighter weight, which is exactly what I was looking for. And before this, nobody really pushed the boundaries of how light a cube could be at all. So I turned out to be right in thinking I'd like the lighter cube because it just feels more natural in the end. I don't feel like I have to force my turning in a certain way at all. I see a lot of people saying that it's like super locky and just like it's not good, and like every time I see somebody, like hear somebody say this, it's somebody that mains like an 80-gram cube, and it's like obviously they're gonna think it's bad because it's 26% lighter than their main, or at least 26%. That's just saying if it is exactly 80 grams, which some of these other cubes are above 80 grams. So it just means like they're used to using a lot more force for each turn, and it's not really the cube that is bad. It's just like a preference thing. Like GAN cubes in general also just have a lot less like piece contact, and so therefore there's like less friction overall, and it makes the turning like super effortless. I'm used to this personally, but most people aren't. Like for me, I just feel like I'm very, very lightly turning on the very edge of the pieces with my fingertips and kind of letting those long auto aligning magnets like finish the turns for you. You can just sort of feel it. It's like you're connected to the cube almost. And that's the other thing that makes them feel so different, is just the magnets in general. The way that GAN does their magnets feels way different from how everyone else does it, and like they feel super smooth and auto aligny like, and these other brands are like they're more clicky and less smooth, and it's not as gradual of like a magnetic pull with other brands that I find. And this is another reason that I don't like the other brands as much. It's not like I think they're bad. It's just like I just can't adjust to it and get it to work for me. One flaw I do see people mention with the magnets on the GAN 15 is that they hit the core in the middle, which I agree. Like it is a problem. Like they do. If you're like maybe turning worse or more bad or aggressively or something. Because I did have one of my light magnets break, and I don't know if this was while I was actually solving or if I was just bringing it around or dropping it or something, but it seems like they are quite fragile. But I only broke one and I just switched them out, and I haven't had any problems since. The way they could potentially fix that is they could make it more like a Moyu like ball core. But that'll likely change the feel of it too, so who knows. But yeah, in general, I really think a lot of people's personal preference has clouded the judgment around this cube just because of how light it is, simply, and the fact that it's a GAN cube also. Because if Moyu were to make a cube this light, I there would still be more resistance behind the turns too, just because of the way they normally feel. Like the RS3V5 and the GAN 12 are like the same weight, but the RS3V5 doesn't really feel quite as light because it's just there's more friction and more like piece to piece contact, and it's just a little bit blockier of a design overall. And it's like, I don't think Moyu cubes are bad just because they don't work for me personally, and that's kind of how people view GAN cubes in the opposite ways. They're like, oh, GAN cubes don't work for me, so they're bad. That's kind of how a lot of people look at them, but it's really that they're just so different. Like, no cube is as light. No cube has the magnets that feel like that. No cube has like that smooth of corner cutting that they have, and it's like, it doesn't make, like, I'm not saying GAN is better than all, it's just it's like sports. It's like not everyone's gonna like the same cleats or the same skis or the same skateboard. It's like, it's not everybody's doing it in the exact same way. Like, there's people seem to be looking for a one size all fits cube, and I just don't really see that happening unless there's magnet adjustment and weight adjustment, because to me that's the two things that determine pretty much what cube I want to use. Is, does the weight of it align with like my natural turning style, whatever you want to call it, and do the magnets align with that as well? Because pretty much like literally every single Moyu cube, the magnets feel too strong to me, or something about the magnetic feel I just don't align with. I just don't like. People have also been mentioning that a lot of the GAN gurus are not using this cube, which I can see why. Like, it's pretty much the same as the 12, just lighter. So if they don't like the fact that it's lighter, then they're just going to use the 12. And that makes sense to me. It seems like this cube is so light to the point where like a lot of people aren't going to like it because of that. But yeah, I really feel like GAN redeemed themselves here after the 13 and 14 were not very great. And honestly, from here, I just want to see them experiment even more, because all their cubes, even back dating from the very beginning, like the GAN 57 or whatever, I had that cube way back in like 2013, 14 or something, and I did not like it, but the overall design still looks pretty similar to how they're making the cubes today. So I just really think they should branch out of just what they've been stuck in the whole time. Just how all their, like, the general construction of their cubes and the general piece design is always so similar. I think they just need to branch out more. But anyways, thanks for watching. Roast my solves in the comments. Maybe spit me some video suggestions. Peace.